So, hello, dear friends and co-workers, and a warm welcome on behalf of the Hechal Group, the Klangschale Group, and the 2025 initiative to our creative laboratory for awakening to the souls of our nations. So, in this collaborative hub for groups dedicated to the work with collectives, we share and support each other and explore together our pioneering work with the aim of awakening to the souls of our nations and contributing to the vision and process of uniting nations towards becoming one human family. So within our series of synthetic snapshots of national groups, we deliberately dedicated our last meeting only to our council chamber of elders in training. It's the focal point on the subtle plane which we are building over the years and from which we do our work. For example, we have experienced that this soul-guided workspace for learning and experimenting together, this heart space for world workers and sacred ground for encounters with higher forces and more, doesn't just open its doors once a month, but that some of us are always there. So the Council Chamber of Elders in Training is our shared abode and has become a daily meeting place for many of us and has continued to gain substance. So now the Council Chamber is, and we as its delegates are, ready and joyfully anticipating a new, profound encounter. And today we will continue our series of synthetic snapshots. And we are very happy that the UK Star Group will present their work with their nation. So we are looking forward to touch into the spiritual roots and the soul of the UK. And we are also invited to experience and to support the meditative work and Christ Avenue of the UK Star Group. And as we are still in the aura of the full moon of Gemini, Christ is very present. So over to the UK group, over to you, Lorraine.
Thank you, dear Annette. Thank you. We are so deeply honoured as the UK Star Group and deeply touched to inaugurate our work here within the Soul of Nations Lab. As our name suggests, we work in star formation, and we will share more on this later. But for now, we'd like to refer you to the brief document we shared with the invitation to this meeting, where we invited everyone to select a function within the star model, which they can then hold on behalf of the UK soul when we meditate together later. And Alexander is putting that document into the chat again now for anyone who didn't see it previously. So today we'd like to open our sharing with a brief perspective on the soul of the UK nations, then share something about how we work as a group and how and where we are directing the energy of our work. We will close with a group meditation in which we hope we will all cooperate as a council of elders in training to amplify the work of our group on behalf of the United Nations of Souls. I'm just going to now share some slides. The UK, esoterically speaking, has a first-rate personality with the motto, I govern, and a second-rate soul with the motto, I serve. Immediately, we see the point of synthesis that needs to be achieved: governance and service. We might describe this as serving as a living chalice. But let us briefly consider the ancient roots of the UK nation. Firstly, we see the convergence of many different nations, some in peace and some as aggressors, coming into the UK lands. From the beginning, the UK has been a melting pot of international wisdom. Secondly, the Celtic and Druidic origins spotlight the deep connection with the land and the profound wisdom contained within the consciousness offered by nature herself. This is a profound and complex spiritual heritage that stretches back millennia and encompasses sophisticated priestly classes, established mystery traditions, and sacred practices that once formed the spiritual backbone of Celtic Britain. A wisdom and consciousness that seeks to be reclaimed, not in the same form, of course, but at a higher turn of the spiral. The third aspect of the ancient UK origins is our leadership in governance. Respected, trusted, emulated, and sought, the first ray of governance which the UK has expressed through its second ray soul, has been a beacon for many nations. Heather will share a little more about this now.
Most recently, we have witnessed the convergence of the first and second ray in the speech made by King Charles to the US Congress in April, embodying as he does a profound connection with the land, along with the sacred heritage in the principles of governance, responsibility, duty, and hierarchy. As Richard Barrett writes, the soul of the UK came carrying the sacred gift of stewardship, the ability to govern with wisdom, hold cultural memory, and tend the land through ritual and law. It was meant to be a living chalice, dignified, wise, and grounded in soul. Of course, like all entities, the UK has a shadow side. In this case, one that shows the distortions of a first-rate personality, as over the centuries we engaged in self-serving commercialism, colonization, empire building, and the slave trade, to mention but a few. Like all entities, the shadow side must be redeemed if the sole purpose is to be fulfilled. We might hypothesize that the current complex immigration challenges facing the UK nation are an aspect of karmic restoration, where in part we have had some success and in part we are still learning. This is what we are holding as a star group within our consciousness, as we seek to support the presencing of the UK soul and its sacred wisdom, grace, and inner sovereignty. Pauline will now share a few aspects about our way of working as a star group.
We shared with you a brief insight into our way of working as a group when we sent out the star model and invited you to consider which function you would be seeking to hold in the meditation we will be guiding shortly. You will also find this document in the chat now. We, the UK Star, are first and foremost a subjective group. We seek to work with the inner plane. The star model was codified as a model for group work by Enzio Savorini, drawn from the Master DK's teaching and Agni Yoga. It is a fundamental embodiment of unity and diversity, embracing wholeness and the parts. Each function within the star corresponds to one of the 7 rays and is held as a function, irrespective of personal ray makeup. At its highest level, it is an emulation of hierarchy. Each function has a specific note and goal, which you can see on the screen, and it is the work of each functionary to contribute that note and work toward that goal to strengthen the functioning of the star as a whole. Activating the star and the group wisdom is part of our daily meditation practice as a group. In the early years, we focused on anchoring light, love, and will and power within the group consciousness through the 3 axes of 1, 4, 7, will and power. 2, 4, 6, love, wisdom. And 3, 4, 5, light, intelligence. After a while, the UK soul made itself known to us through a global invocation focusing on establishing the fair and just socio-economic model for humanity that exists in sacred blueprint, but not yet realized on earth. In the past 2 years, we have consciously and actively included a focus on the UK soul, sensing that this needs to be brought more fully into our awareness and our work. Today sees the presencing of the UK soul in the consciousness of this incredible council of elders and the building of the united soul of nations. Nina will say a little about the impressions we receive.
Our meditative work is in part reflected back to us through the receipt of images which any one of us may perceive, but which largely come through me. Initially as part of the 4th ray function, and now holding the 2nd ray function. They flow through me, but they are not mine. For this meeting, we decided to embody a couple of these images so that we as a whole group may perceive some of the energy contacted. The images are the result of our invocation and evocation. And here you see the star as the intermediary between the earth and the infinite wisdom of hierarchy, with the light of consciousness flowing through. In the 2nd you see the light overflowing from our group chalice, the heart, ever replenished by the light of hierarchy from above. The mandala is a representation of our group work, diversity and unity, the fractal and the whole. Although primarily subjective in nature, we also anchor our work in sacred UK sites. We spent a day meditating in London with the intention to connect with this planetary centre and inlet for higher consciousness, for the planet as a whole. London has a second ray soul and a fifth ray personality, and is considered to be conditioned by the first ray of will and power. In St. Paul's Cathedral, we meditated in front of the world-famous painting of the Christ, the light of the world, and in the presence of school children. In Westminster Abbey, we've radiated love, light, and power to the UK government, whilst in the Tate Museum, we connected with beauty. Jen will now take us onward.
Coinciding with our intuition to bring a specific focus within our work onto the UK soul, we spent 2 days in retreat at the Chalice Well in the sacred site of Avalon, known today as Glastonbury. The Chalice Well has a natural sacred spring and a beautiful garden. According to legend, it is the place where Joseph of Arimathea brought the Holy Grail to Britain, wrapped in a cloth of white samite, and placed it beneath the first Christian altar to be raised in the land, within the first Christian church built on that spot. He later hid it at the bottom of the well, which afterwards gushed red-tinted water, now known as the Chalice Well or Blood Well. It is a sacred representation of the Christ within the UK. Heather will now say more about our invocative work, the specific focal point or aim to which our work is directed.
As mentioned earlier, our work has been guided intuitively and sometimes unconsciously, meaning we can sometimes only see the purpose behind our work and some of the inspirations coming through with the benefit of the rear-view mirror. For many years, we worked with a clear and powerful invocation. Standing within the fiery heart of the one life, we invoke the new, fair and just global socio-economic model. We came to know more deeply in time that this invocation is the higher embodiment of the UK soul and personality rays. It combines the governance and leadership of the first ray at the highest possible level, along with the loving wisdom of the second ray, as we seek to invoke a fair and just global socio-economic model. we came to understand that, of course, this model already exists on the higher planes. It is for humanity to bring it into realization and livingness on the horizontal plane. 2 years ago, we became inspired to bring a focus specifically on the UK soul into our work. We understood this at the level of intellect initially, but over time, and as shared today, we are entering a deeper level of awareness of what this means and how it links with the socio-economic focus of our long-standing invocation. Today, we express our invocation as follows. Standing within the fiery heart of the one life, we connect with the soul of the UK nation and affirm its sacred origins. Steward and carrier of ancient wisdom of many interlocking lands, embodying its inner sovereignty with grace and wisdom. We connect with our collective will to lift the lower self of the UK into the light divine. And we invoke the new, fair and just global socio-economic model. May that which desires to lift and that which cries aloud for lifting become at one. Such is our will. Within this invocation, which we will say as part of our group meditation with everyone today, we feel the living presence of the UK soul and the ancient wisdom it embodies. We sense deeply the function that the UK can play in supporting a new era of social and economic prosperity. And we feel the presence of the first ray as the presence of a higher will and dedication to right governance, imbued with inner sovereignty, grace, and wisdom. Lorraine will now give the group meditation.
Thank you, Heather. Before we start the meditation here today, we again invite each person to recall, or choose now if you will, the ray function within the star that you wish to embody throughout this meditation in support of the UK nation's contribution to the UK lab. The star model is on the screen now, and we invite you to select one of those 7 functions, connect with that, and as the meditation unfolds, you will have the opportunity to represent and hold that function energetically with us in the UK staff. So I'll just give everybody another moment to either remember what you chose or make that choice now. So let us now, friends, prepare for meditation. As we close our eyes, let us connect with our breath and gently bring our attention to our individual heart center, where we see the flame of love and light burning brightly. We connect with the heart centers of each person here, forming a unified center of love and light. As council elders in training, we prepare as a group to enter the council chamber. Firstly, we enter the beautiful gardens, noting how each garden brings its own note and quality to the garden as a whole. Within the gardens, we feel the presence of beauty and the radiant love of nature. We visualize the council chamber and enter through the portal to the inner chamber, where we visualize the flame of synthesis burning brightly in the center. We align with the presence of our elder sisters and brothers on the subtle realms, the spiritual hierarchy, who guide and assist us in our common service. And we connect with the presence of the overlighting Christ. Now we move in group formation to take up our chosen place as a functionary within the six-pointed star, each standing around the central flame. We see the geometry of the star formed by each one of us, each one holding our ray function. On our behalf, I will sound the mantram of the order of stars. Unified in group consciousness, devoted to creating the new era in direct contact with hierarchy. We offer ourselves to be channels of the models of the future, and we commit ourselves to realize and spread them, becoming co-creators of joy. May divine inspiration guide each and every act of ours. Standing in our ray formation, as the affirmation of the ray energy vertex is sounded, we seek to hold and embody that on behalf of the UK star, activating the energetic and magnetic circuit of the star. First vertex, beatitude. Goal, restoration of the mysteries. We hold the first ray vertex. We open the circuit of the star. We advance towards power and persist. We pass the energy to the second ray vertex. Second vertex, smile. Goal, return of the Christ. We hold the second ray vertex. We create the magnetic space of the star. We attract all beings to the center. We pass the energy to the third ray vertex. Third vertex, joy. Goal, group initiation. We hold the third ray vertex. We formulate the plan. We work in silence behind all forms. We pass the energy to the fourth ray vertex. Fourth vertex, rest. Goal, imitation of the hierarchy. We hold the fourth ray vertex. We reflect and hold the harmony and beauty of the star. Two merge with one, and our hearts rest in the center. We pass the energy to the fifth ray vertex. Fifth vertex, strength. Goal, new culture, new civilization. We hold the fifth ray vertex. We are constructors of the star. We seek the one within all forms. We pass the energy to the sixth ray vertex. Sixth vertex, value, goal, New World religion. We hold the sixth ray vertex. We hold the value of the star. We love truth and more our similars. We pass the energy to the seventh ray vertex. Seventh vertex, wisdom, goal, order, restoration of the plan. We hold the seventh ray vertex. We coordinate and organize energies and forms of the star. We connect with what is outside and what is inside. And we seek and we see the plan appear. We pass the energy to the first ray vertex. Let us see the flow of energies linking the vertices and visualize our group as a lighted chalice, our symbol of service, governance, wisdom, and love. See the fiery lighted chalice established within a continuous stream of cosmic energy and overflowing down towards humanity and the earth. Invocation. Standing within the fiery heart of the one life, we connect with the soul of the UK nation and affirm its sacred origins. Steward and carrier of ancient wisdom of many interlocking lands, embodying its inner sovereignty with grace and wisdom. We connect with our collective will to lift the lower self of the UK into the light divine. And we invoke the new, fair and just global socio-economic model. May that which desires to lift and that which cries aloud for lifting become at one. Such is our will. Standing in the group soul as one group, let us receive and perceive impressions and insights. standing in the center of the council chamber in star formation. We distribute the energies received in meditation by visualizing the Christ Avenue as the point of synthesis, anchored here on the physical plane in prepared light centers within the UK nation. As we prepare to return from the meditation, we take into our consciousness the following image for us all to focus on in the coming months and years. The UK is the steward and carrier of ancient wisdom of many interlocking lands, embodying its inner sovereignty with grace and wisdom. The UK is the steward and carrier of ancient wisdom of many interlocking lands, embodying its inner sovereignty with grace and wisdom. And now gently, each in their own way, we prepare to leave the council chamber, enriched by the inspiration and intuition received in meditation, and committed to the continued building of the United Nation of Souls. Thank you, everyone.
Let us take another minute in silence to receive fully what this meditation has enabled us before we will open the floor to our sharing. Thank you, dear UK group, for this profound sharing of your work, deep work, and for this potent, very felt sense meditation. So let us now start our group reflection. I invite all of us to share, first of all, your impressions about the UK and about anything that may be helpful for the UK group.
This is Margot from the Society for the Enhancement of Quality of Life, Victoria Star. I held the 7th ray vertex in the UK Star. In the Victoria Star, I hold the 1st. The UK Star, your meditation. Thank you. Thank you. It evoked an ancient knowing that I don't have words for. Saint Michael appeared. Strong connection with Saint Michael. And the image that Sir Wesley Tudor Pole described of his vision of the fiery cross becoming the chalice. And also MDK's teaching of the triangle of the United Kingdom, Russia, and the United States of America. So there was a lot of cohesion and the sense of the UK again emerging onto the world stage, if I can put it that way, with a strength of the sovereignty, that inner sovereignty of which you spoke, and governing and serving not only her own peoples, but the world community, humanity. Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you, Margot.
Hello, everyone.
Thank you. This is Deborah from the US. And I found myself standing at the 1st ray vertex, especially attuned to the role that the very soul and spirit of the UK has in the restoration of the mysteries. I felt very deeply attuned to the profoundly ancient roots of the mysteries that's carried in the land and the soil and the blood of the people to restore that which will give rebirth
to the earth and to the sovereignty of the people.
Thank you, Deborah.
Hello, everyone. It's Eddie. I'm a new from Cameroon. I think I use the seven ray ceremonial. Sorry for my English for the beginning because I'm a French speaker. So I use the seven ray ceremonial and magic order, ceremonial order or magic, and I think it's restoration of the plan. It's linked to the deva of the earth, Mother Earth. When I see UK has close to ecology. David Attenborough and King Charles is very related to ecology. And I see that UK is close to the deva of this ecology consciousness. And it is the responsibility to the UK to restore this just relation between humanity and the earth mother, vegetable and mineral, which is blocked now by capitalism everywhere. So thank you.
Thank you, Eddie, for this insight.
Thank you, United Kingdom, for a brilliant, light and love-filled presentation and meditation. I, too, chose that seventh ray space. And it was interesting in that there was a sense that the restoration of the plan was associated with the demise of the Lemurian civilization, which I think in many ways our current world is mirroring, and the need for us to redeem that aspect, that failure, in a sense, of that civilization, as we watch very carefully our actions and reactions in the present day. It also brought to me a recognition of the adolescent nature of the United States, and that we should raise our sights towards the United Kingdom and the dignity and the maturity and the wisdom that is there for us to learn from. Like adolescents, sometimes we think we know it all. And I think when we look towards what I've listened to and heard through your presentation, we should turn our eyes towards true elders. Thank you.
Andrea, thank you. Beautiful.
Hello, I'm Haido. I'm in Greece. Thank you so much for your presentation and the meditation. I was nodding and smiling when I heard Eddie speaking, because I was on the second ray star for the return of Christ. And I so much felt the same like Eddie. I felt that this wisdom you're talking about in your invocation is absolutely linked with nature. It was as if I could see ancient wisdom rising from the earth and through nature. I don't know exactly what it means, and I hope it's some kind of valuable information for you. the UK team. But it made so much sense. Wisdom and earth and nature, all this connected. Thank you.
Thank you, Aido.
This is Stefan speaking from the German Star. Thank you so much for the presentation and in particular for the meditation. What really stuck with me, I was in the second vertex, was that I can't remember really what it was, kind of a mantra or something that we should keep in mind. The UK is the steward and carrier of ancient wisdom and many interlocking lands, embodying its inner sovereignty with grace and wisdom. And what comes really clear into my mind is that this is a kind of a soul motto that the UK brings into that chamber of elders and elders that where Germany is facing on that fourth race soul and connecting and building bridges between the two parts, in the UK as the carrier of the wisdom of how interlocking lands, of the wisdom of interlocking lands. So I'm not so sure whether I made myself so clear, but it's clear for me. So thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you, Stefan. Quite clear.
Thank you, UK Soul Group. 2 points came up to me. One was the very process of searching for, I took the Vertex 2, and there was an energetic response in that Vertex from the process that you took to arrive at the resonance with the soul of the UK through moving into the beautiful, the churches, the paintings, the gardens, the myth that hold the spiritual energy, and through that arriving at an entirely different system. The star represents for me a system that opens through the solar energies, unlike the usual approach of humanity, which is the ground up. But so the linkage, your ability to use the star as a spiritual system that offers opportunity to rhythmically and smoothly open the spiritual energies of the UK itself into what was said by the earlier speaker about the interlocking relationships it has with other countries. And to adopt the star to create the verticality that is needed in every country for true spiritual change was very effective in my experience. It was visionary. And I thank you for the practice of what you've arrived at. Thank you.
Thank you, Martha.
So I try to make a summary, which is always difficult. First of all, a great gratitude and thank you so much, dear UK group, for your presentation. It was so rich and it touched so many points. So for me, it was really like a kind of Pentecost experience, which is definitely a group experience. So close to the Pentecost, which is already gone, and the Gemini full moon, which may have helped to this. When we as a group, guided by you, entered the council chamber, there was such a joyful solemnity. It felt really special, this united group. And thank you so much also for lifting our consciousness to such a very high level of the spiral, as you said, and looking through the divine light, what grace can result from the blended soul, blended personality, and in this case from the one and from the first and the second. I less saw the UK, the soul infused as a guidance of the whole world, but I clearly saw the ability, the great ability to be a teacher, to be a supervisor, to be a facilitator for others to walk this path. And to be a wisdom keeper of this ancient wisdom and knowledge, for me, has a strong relationship to Europe, to the old continent, to the old countries. And I felt a resonance also in the German territory and certainly in many others. So yeah, I stop here. Deep gratitude. There is so much more that wants to be said, but I'm not able to do it in a very synthetic way now. But in the end, I would like also to thank Eddie to bring in the Deva and the Mother Earth, who are so strongly connected to this ancient wisdom and are rising in this moment when it's activated. So I also was supporting and holding the second vortex in this meditation. And I want to thank you so much for the inspiration for me also being part of a star working group working with the star model, to do the invocation with a we, not I invoke, but we invoke. In this moment, I felt a vibrating resonance with all brothers and sisters being involved in this international star order work. And so in this moment, the star model really appeared like for a moment crystal clear vision as a blueprint for how you said it so beautifully, the inner sovereignty with grace and wisdom guidance by ourselves for the humanity. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Sabine.
Jonathan from Portugal. Firstly, I really want to honor and appreciate the integrity and the wisdom that you have restored, that you have brought to view, that is present in the garden that we're sharing together. It's really so inspirational. I was drawn to the restoration of the mysteries, but also the new culture and civilization. And what I want to share with you is that what came to my heart awareness was the nature of the culture of music and celebration, which has characterized the people of the lands through the decades, via the gatherings which often take place in the spring and summer, the music and sound, the light and sound that has characterized the land since ancient times, recalling the perpetual choirs that enchanted the culture, the broader connection between the people and the spirit of the land. That seems to be where the heart of the wisdom is that is being reconnected via this Nations Lab in such a beautiful way that brings forth to the synthesis that can be expressed through the people. Each of the Nations Lab has brought that synthesis to the foreground. But I would just like to highlight how it is that culture is harnessed via the talent, the connection that the people have between the environment and between their soul. And that kind of expression not only is a restoration of the mysteries, but it is the embodying of the sovereignty of the soul that will bring forth that new culture, new civilization, and universality, the spirit that embraces the world between our nations. Thank you.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Yeah, yes, Annette, and I want to highlight this moment of building together a star formation inside the council chamber. It was so special for me, this movement, this moving together and building this sacred geometry around this flame of synthesis. So it was very special. And yeah, I also want to express my gratitude for still feeling this frequency for me of the soul note of the UK, which for me is very much connected with the Christ energy, with the overlighting Christ, as was said in the meditation. I myself found myself on the fourth ray function, and it was a little bit also, I thought later, as I am also a delegate for Germany, and Germany has a fourth ray soul, it was also like a start of an international star. Also, we built this Great Britain or this UK star together, and it was for this work in this, it was also like an international star. So thank you very much for this experience, which is still so alive.
Thank you, Annette.
Hello, everybody. I want to thank you for this beautiful and powerful meditation, I identified with the vertex of simplifying the mysteries, clarifying them, looking at the direction, and looking at their essential purpose for the current age. And from my perspective as a citizen of the United States, I sensed this long thread between the US and the UK, with the UK carrying that wisdom of the original integration, which quite frankly, I had never really given a lot of consideration to previously. And the US then now carrying the impulse of emergence in the new world, still needing the wisdom that has long been held and established in the UK. Together, I see them holding a very hopeful, complementary key for the Aquarian age, which several of you have mentioned, and we are entering that, which looks to me like it will be when humanity learns to live as one interdependent whole, cooperating across all our differences and building systems rooted in fairness and dignity and the good of the many. When that happens, we will see that we've been successful in this work. Thank you.
Thanks, Marty.
May I offer a couple of reflections on behalf of the UK STAR, but more particularly on behalf of all of our group work. As you've all been sharing so beautifully and powerfully, thank you. Thank you, all of you. Great inspiration there for us as we continue our work in the UK STAR, in the UK Soul, with the UK Soul. But the big reflection that was coming to me as everyone was sharing was that that when we use that word wisdom, and in the context of the UK, using that ancient wisdom phrase, every single land, every single part of humanity has access to that ancient wisdom. It's not particular or peculiar to the UK, but it is very important that there is a connection with whatever that wisdom is, whatever part of the whole each nation is holding, because we are all holding a part of it. And I think in the case of the UK, with the first ray personality and the second ray soul, there's so much work for us to do on behalf of the group as a whole, to work out how to bring those two qualities together. And there are moments, for sure, there have been moments when the soul has been able to communicate through the personality in something like reasonable equilibrium and integration and synthesis. And times when that's only visible in hindsight, I think, where as we know with our own individual journeys. So none of this is about saying that the UK is holding a superior position. In fact, if anything, I think our work is showing us that wisdom emerges through humility, through service, through being a channel for. And the more we can be in contact with, as many of you said, be in contact with the land, be in contact with the devas, be in contact with the wisdom that comes through our individual lands, and offer that up into the collective consciousness, the more we can build the new civilization here on Earth. And for me, and on behalf of the Star Group, being part of this Council of Elders and having the opportunity to offer our little fractal into this wonderful group has been a privilege so far, and one we will reflect on very deeply. So thank you for all the contributions.
Yeah. Yeah, I also would like to express my gratitude for what you have brought here into the Nations Lab, into the Council Chamber, dear UK group. The flame of synthesis is something new for us in the Council Chamber. Until now, it was the flame of our sustained will to love. And we have already decided that we are going to adopt it. So we are now having a flame of synthesis in the Council Chamber. And also the star formation. We also, in our Hechal group, we are a star, and also the 2025 initiative is a star group. So to have brought this, to have stood now together in star formation, in this geometric order and beauty, has like painted it into the council chamber around the flame of synthesis. And like Annette said, perhaps it is a seed for an international star. Yeah, for me it was wonderful to link in with the Chalice Well, with all this ancient wisdom that is held in the land, in the angel land. It is very close to my heart, Avalon, and this ancient wisdom. As you said, Lorraine, every land has its ancient wisdom. And I don't know, perhaps it's only my impression, but coming to the UK, this seems so vivid, so accessible. The devas are so present. And I can say this is this session now has for me strengthened my hope that the UK will wake up again and play its role in the triangle with the US and Russia. And express its maturity and ancient wisdom. So, very grateful. Let us again sound in the council chamber the invocation, the affirmation for the UK. Standing within the fiery heart of the one life, we connect with the soul of the UK nation and affirm its sacred origins. Steward and carrier of ancient wisdom of many interlocking lands, embodying its inner sovereignty with grace and wisdom. We connect with our collective will to lift the lower self of the UK into the light divine. And we invoke the new, fair and just global socio-economic model. May that which desires to lift and that which cries aloud for lifting become at one. Such is our will. This affirmation is now part of what reverberates in the council chamber. It's part of the vibrational weave of the council chamber. So each time when we enter it, we can attune to the soul note of the UK, keeping it present in our ongoing awareness and love. So again, thank you everyone for this rich session, deepening our work. And just to say that the next webinar will be on June 30th, where we will receive a synthetic snapshot of the groups of South America, mainly South America, who are doing this integrative work for the whole continent, the Americas Alignment Project. So they will tell us about this work and lead us in their Americas Alignment meditation. So let us say goodbye for today, and Alexander will lead us in our closing meditation.
Thank you, friends, for our work today in the council chamber. As we close our session, let us hold another minute of silence, recognizing us being together in a circle around the central flame, the fire of synthesis, acknowledging the presence of our elders, learning from them and following their example. And as we stand together in a circle in the council chamber, let us turn outward towards our nations, immersing into their soul light and radiating the light of the uniting nations forward. Visualizing this light touching minds and hearts of people in all the nations, inspiring and stimulating the spirit of brotherhood to be manifested everywhere.